Duval County, and I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself, ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom. She's here. She's with us. And you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. We appreciate it. Coming up, first 100 days, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the things that probably Democrats are trying to hide. And what I wonder what Nikki Fried, don't you care about what Nikki Fried thinks?
Marijuana?
You bet she does. And we're going to find out more about what she thinks about the first 100 days because it's funny. And so we should probably play that right out of the gate. And then some other things that were going on, some of the breaking news from the president as he was getting ready to get onto Air Force One. And some of the questions that the press were asking, funny stuff. We'll get to that. And then, of course, here in the state of Florida, it wouldn't be another day as we get closer to and closer to what was supposed to be the close of the legislative session there this Friday. But no, we can't do that. Forget about the glide path. Everything's kind of messy. And then you got the governor and you got the Speaker of the House, Daniel Perez, and you've got the Senate. And it's just... Well, we'll get to all of that coming up in just a second. First, D, just making sure D is there. D's feeling pretty good today. Everything is cool. Yes.
I am here. Everything's good so far.
All right, so let's do this. I hate to do this, but just because people were asking, Nina, go ahead and crack the mic open and just say hello because people don't believe that you even exist. So just say hi. Just crack the mic. It's okay. You don't have to. I'm not going to ask a bunch of questions. Just say hi. Crack the mic. Is she there?
Guys.
Okay, there you go. See, she exists.
She's real.
By the way, where were you for a month? Where did you go? Where were you?
Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto in Japan.
Okay, great. That's all I need to know. That's it. You're good. Okay.
Arigato.
No, whatever you just said. Mute the mic. God bless you. So there you go. All right. So a lot of good stuff happening today. All right, let's get this going. First 100 days. So you have the president who was asked about that just a little while ago. First 100 days, historic. What do you think?
Well, I think we've done everything or it's in the process of being done. For instance, the border is in great shape. 99.9% came out again today.
Yeah, but the left doesn't like that, and the media doesn't like that. I mean, they like the open border thing, and they like to have that wedge issue going on, and you screaming and yelling and saying, "Hey, my streets aren't safe," and all of this going on, and people coming into the country illegally and tapping into what is ours and resources like hospitals and the like, and the left is like, "Oh, take it down a notch, will you please?"
99.9. That I would say that was my number one thing.
Yep.
The economy would be certainly right up there, and I think it's doing great. We were losing billions and billions of dollars a day with trade, and now I have that down to a very low level, and soon we're going to be making a lot of money. We're going to be reducing people's taxes, and we're going to get the big, look, a very important element that we're working on now, maybe more important than anything with the border in good shape, is the fact that we want to get, and very importantly, the big, beautiful New Deal. If we get that done, that's the biggest thing. All
right, so basically the president talking about the making sure the tax cuts are permanent and getting that big, beautiful deal done. And if you've seen the numbers with tariffs and China and what kind of money we have been taking in since Trump announced the tariffs, it's off the charts. It's astronomical. And it was brought up today at the White House with the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. And we're going to get to that coming up in just a second, because was there the comments by the Treasury Secretary once again, as we've talked about on this show, Are they talking about the possibility of getting rid of taxes, altogether, possibly for people 150,000 and below, maybe more, based on what we take in for tariffs? Is that even possible? We've talked about how many people said it is if you go 150,000 and lower. But Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, dropped a little bit of a hint a little earlier today. I know we care about what Nikki Fried says because she is the head of the Florida Democrats. And so anytime Nikki Fried has something to say, it's going to be funny. So why don't we have a little bit of fun with that? So, all right, let's see what she says. Because obviously, by default, it's like just push the button by default. It's bad. Orange man bad. He's probably a Nazi. He's a fascist. Bad. It's just that's you just keep hitting the back of the button there. Here we go. Let's see.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nikki Fried here,
Oh.
chair of the Florida Democratic Party.
Oh, look at you. I didn't see you standing there. Hi.
Today marks Trump's first 100 days,
Yeah, it is. It is the first 100 days.
and the damage is already done.
There you go. Push the button. Ding, ding, ding. There it is. It's awful. Damage. Okay, bad. Orange man bad. Okay, good. We got it.
In just over 3 months,
Yeah.
we have seen sky-high tariffs that have tanked the economy.
The economy's tanked? It really? Has it tanked? I don't know. I'm not really sure about. Maybe tanked is a little drastic, but no, it hasn't tanked. It's
Hurt small business owners and damaged our alliances around the world.
Okay, so we've damaged. I love that we've damaged alliances around the world. So the suggestion by people who don't like tariffs is a tool. Tariffs is a tool. And possibly even to bring in more revenue if it's not going to be fair, the trade that we are doing. Thus, if you're tariffing our goods 200% and we're only tariffing your goods 10%, maybe we can get it a little. No, see what it is there are certain people, even on the right, maybe not the right, but there are certain Republicans and definitely Democrats, the left, who just want status quo. Hey, do we have to rock the boat? Can't we just go back to the way things were? No, we can't. We're realigning here.
The worst measles outbreak in decades?
The worst measles. I wonder why that happened. Can imagine and think about it. Why is it that we've had that happen? Is it because of RFK Jr. and the policies of Donald Trump, and because there at HHS, you have individuals who are like, forget about vaccines. We don't need any of that because everything is just fine. Move along. Is that really the position that they're taking? Also, how many people have gone to... I don't know if you remember this. It was one of those, if you're going to bring up the measles thing. Dee, I'm going to bring you into the conversation because I'm trying to remember if I talked to you about this or I played the video of this. I'm trying to remember. Oh, by the way, we can't, we want to see all of this, so forgive me. There she is. There's Nick. There's, in case you're watching at the FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. People like to watch. There she is. Okay. Dee, didn't we talk about this before with the measles outbreaks? And people were putting up memes about how back in the 60s, Brady Bunch, and how everybody would get the measles. And it's just like, okay, stay home. Just like it happens. It'll run its course and then you'll be back at school soon enough. I remember that as a kid. Lots of people in the 60s and 70s remember. Do you remember that? Did we talk?
I don't remember talking about that.
I guess, okay. That was like one of those memes that was out there. But anyway, I digress. Let's see what else she has to say. Here we go.
Attacks on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security.
It's a tax, right? There's the button. Bing, bing. It's a tax. Fascist, orange man bad. Okay, it's a tax on Social Security, right? Because nobody's... Did you know that nobody since Trump has taken office has received a Social Security check? Did you know that? Because they've attacked it.
Zero.
Yeah,
nobody.
That's right, nobody.
And attacks on public servants, veterans, and educators.
Okay, can we stop for a second? I don't know if I can keep listening to her because it just gets to be like the whole nails on the chalkboard thing. But we'll get to maybe later. I'll play a little bit more because I think it's funny the attacks and the word attacks and attacking veterans, attacking Social Security, attacking educators. It's always an attack. That's what it is. I wonder what an attack really looks like. Like, who would call for attacks? I know some people that have called for attacks. Why don't we show people on the left what that looks like, maybe? Here's an example of calling for what you would say is quote-unquote attacks. Governor J.B. Pritzker on MSNBC saying, allegedly, we're in a perilous moment here. And so there are things that we have to do. Big D, I'm going to play this video clip. Let's check this out and see what the governor has to say about the perilous moment that we're in.
The dangers that my family experienced in Ukraine, the dangers that we saw in Nazi Germany, especially in the earliest days of Nazi Germany.
Yeah, you almost can't have a Trump conversation without throwing in Nazi Germany and Nazis and fascism and the like, right? So
are the dangers that we need to react to now.
Okay, we do. Go ahead.
If we don't, things will get much, much worse. And so we've got to raise alarm bells to everybody. It's a 5-alarm fire, everyone. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets and speak up and make your voices heard.
Step out into the street and make your voices heard.
Because that's the only thing that we have. That's the power that we have. And we can stop them in their tracks because, you know what? Republicans in Congress don't want to lose re-election.
Okay, so that's what we have to do. We have to stop them in their tracks. We have to step out into the streets. That's what we have to. That's what we have to do. So when you step out into the streets, I wonder what he's thinking when he says like step out into the streets. Is it just like kind of hanging out? Like what is stepping out into the streets mean to? By the way, for those that don't know about J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Michigan, there's always this fun story, D, that we're going to show this video of a little news story about J.B. Pritzker back in the day.
J.B. Pritzker, his wife, and his brother-in-law are now under federal criminal investigation. They allegedly used toilets to avoid taxes.
D, have you ever heard anybody who used toilets to avoid taxes? That's pretty creative.
That is a first.
Yeah, that is a first. So let's talk about creative here.
Governor Pritzker purchased this mansion in Chicago back in 2007.
But to look at that, it's beautiful. What about the toilets?
It remained vacant for years. According to the Chicago Tribune, all the toilets were removed from the home in October 2015.
Oh, they took all the toilets out. Who lives in a house? Who lives in a mansion with no toilets?
Doing that allowed the home to be classified as uninhabitable. It changed the property assessment value from $6 million to $1 million.
Well, that seems pretty slick.
Pritzker profited about $330,000 between tax breaks and tax savings. Today, he maintained that he followed the rules.
He followed the rules, everybody, because, D, everybody knows that, when you buy a mansion, you're always thinking to yourself, hey, can we just change the toilets? You know what? You've taken them all out. Just leave them out because, I'm old school, D. There's a certain people who are like, I'm old school. You got a hole there? That's fine. I'll work it out.
That's what I was just going to ask. Where was he going to the facilities?
I don't really know. Some people call that shady. And some people might say, hey, forgive me if I don't want to follow the governor there in Michigan and some of what he talks about when it comes to taking to the streets because Trump, fascist Nazi and all that kind of crazy talking.
I don't see no stinking Nazis in here.
Yeah, so forgive us if we're not really listening to you crazy lefties out there. Oh, and by the way, he's probably going to run for president of the United States. That guy, the toilet guy. Let's make sure, D, remind me to keep the toilet thing in the vault. The toilet story.
Toilet guy in the vault. Got it.
Toilet guy. Toilet. This show has gone off. The minute you start talking toilets, the show's off the rails. That's it. There's no place to go after that. I mean, it's I guess we should probably move on to something else. Let's get out of this into something else here on Florida's Voice. All right, let's talk about some Florida stories. Let's get to that right here. The Attorney General of the state of Florida is James Uthmeyer. And he announced the creation of the Office of Parental Rights. It's the first in the nation initiative meant to empower parents and defend their rights in matters involving their children's education, health care, and personal data. I like that. I will say something about this, though, and it's not anybody's fault. It's just one of these things to tuck away. And D, when I say this, I want you to tell me whether or not it's something I should leave or I should have left it where it was, or you're glad that I brought it up just to keep it tucked away in the back of your mind, okay? So just keep that, forget the toilets, move on to tucking away in my head, okay? You got this? Here we go. So the new office is going to serve as a resource for families who believe that their rights have been violated by schools, local governments, or institutions. I love it. This is an opportunity for parents to go, hold on a second. I need some help from the state. How about the Office of Parental Rights? And we can empower parents to say, look, something's going wrong here. At the Jacksonville Classical Academy, he had a news conference and he talked about government should understand that when it comes to raising kids, they don't know best. The parents do, and they deserve an attorney general's office working on their behalf. I like it. It's going to investigate claims involving unauthorized health services, data collection without parental consent, restricted parental access to education materials. So, for example, denial of access to school records. Yeah, I'd like to see what's going on in the school. I'd like to see what's happening. No, we can't show you that. Well, why not? Why not? Lack of consent for biometric or personal data collection. I'll tell you this. For the longest time, people have talked about the concerns that they have about freely and willingly giving away a lot of your child's information, their personal data, and collecting it, and what the schools are doing with it. Not that there would be anything that they would do nefarious with that. That would never happen, but could end up in the wrong hands. Unauthorized healthcare, counseling, or mental health services. That's a huge one. So what is that? As the Attorney General Othmeyer is talking about this Office of Parental Rights, the parents to have the right to say, listen, unauthorized healthcare, counseling, or mental health services. So let's say your child is upset with you. Maybe something's going on in the house. Something that a typical teenage child would have an issue with. You just, I don't know, you're at home, back and forth, you're having a discussion about different things. They're young. There's a lot of things going on in their world. They're getting confused. Maybe there's a little depression creeping in because they feel like there's no one that they can talk to about some personal issues that are going on at home. But things that happen on a daily basis when you're a teenager, that has happened for time immemorial, okay? So follow what I'm saying here. And then all of a sudden, you have some people who are there counseling, let's just say at the school, and you have no idea. And let's just imagine, we're just pretending, that's all. Let's just pretend that your child, really sad, getting a little depressed because of the things that are happening in the house, or maybe with other students that you don't even as a parent know about. Maybe it's not even about you. Maybe it's about the issues that they're having with a relationship or some kids in the schools. Maybe they're getting bullied in some way, shape, or form, whatever it is, and they're getting a little sad. And the counselor says, I think we could help you. Maybe you're not who you think you are. Excuse me? Or as they used to say, squeeze me? Yeah. And you know where I'm going with this. And you know where I'm going with this because this has happened. And so criminal cases will be forwarded to the Office of Statewide Prosecution. The Attorney General is like, listen, if something like this is going on, you come to the Office of Parental Rights and we're going to have a conversation about this. And we're going to see what we can do to stop this because this is not right. Violations of parental notification for health services, objectionable instructional or library materials. Hey, you got problems with some of the things that are on the shelves that the kids are being taught, or not even taught, but the books that are being used supposedly to teach in an English class that shouldn't even necessarily be in a health class. And they should, if anything, be in a health class when it comes to some of the things that they're describing here that some might say are pornographic. But meanwhile, they shouldn't be in the school at all. Like, I couldn't even read some of the things out of these books that supposedly is in the in English class in front of a school board. You'd kick me out. This is awesome, these protections. But at the same time, I also want to make sure on the other side of this that, and it's not this case in particular, but yes, this is really, really good news. That the AG Othmeyer is saying, look, Office of Parental Rights, let's do this. Let's make sure. First in the nation, by the way, this First in the Nation initiative, I'd love to have him on to talk about this specifically and get more into detail on this, because to me, this is a win. No doubt. How come nobody else has thought of this? I like that. But at the same time, pushing this aside, and it's got nothing to do with him, it's got nothing to do with this, okay. I always worry, and Dee, this is where, as the ombudsman, I hope when I say this, it comes across properly. is that sometimes we just have to be careful. And I don't think it's in this case, but there will be other cases where sometimes you preemptively do things in state government, believing that it's going to be a protection for good conservative values. And that's awesome. But sometimes it can be flipped and used in other ways. In other words, if the wrong ideology gets a hold of some of what gets passed, let's make sure that they don't use it for their own ideology or beliefs that would be against what would be the law, and certainly what would be precedent, and certainly on top of that would be what parents don't want in schools because they have an agenda. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just, right there, you know, sometimes you with the best of intentions, and again, I'm not saying it's this, but I'm just saying in general, this is just a 30,000 foot view comment that I'm making. It's off the top of my head. That sometimes when you have the best of intentions and you pass laws, sometimes you also have to look forward and assume that one day a Republican will not be governor, and we will not be, and we won't have a supermajority. We might have a slim majority or none in the legislature. And you just have to make sure that what you are presenting and putting out there couldn't be used on the other side for ill, I guess.
For ill or political gain.
Yes. For ill. It's probably not the best way or the best use of the English language or a sentence or grammar or anything else that I can constantly do wrong. I know, because I see Dee's text all the time. It's like, that's not how you say that. Okay, got it. Anyway, but I appreciate him. By the way, how's the dog today? I can't see him. Is he okay?
He's sleeping right here.
Good. Okay.
Keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got what, about 10 minutes before the dog starts barking again? Or is hungry? I forget about that. Forgive me, and I know it's like a little inside Drew Steele baseball and Florida's Voice baseball. Tia, it's been a long time since I've had a pup. When the dog wakes up, boom, got to take him out right away, right?
As close as you can, yeah, depending upon how long they slept.
Yeah, you don't want to be, you don't want to wait too long. I forget what the time period is where that flips, where it's like, it's okay now. He can hang on for a couple of minutes before we get going. It's like, what, 5 years old?
Oh, no.
I'm just
Hopefully
kidding.
like 6 months.
Yeah, he's getting close already. We're good. All right. I'm talking softly because I don't want to wake him up. Anyway, anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. We are live each and every day, 3 to 6 p.m. right here on this very radio station and across the state of Florida, across the globe, at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Yeah, listen, if you're watching the program right now, maybe you're watching on X, you pick up the phone. If you're watching right now, if you want to talk about anything that we're talking about, you can always call. You are welcome to do so. All right, top of the news coming up. Anita Padilla's in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We'll find out the latest, what they're keeping an eye on, and then we'll get to some of the other headlines that are happening today. I definitely want to play Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, confirming what appears to be plans to swap the income tax for tariffs. I mean, did he say that today? He was with the White House press secretary, among other things that were said there at the White House. So we're going to get to all of that coming up in just a bit. Once again, if you want to find out more about what we are writing about, what we are working on in the newsroom, you can always go to flvoicenews.com, the website.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's rock-solid countertops and more. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock-solid countertops and more.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remained. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide, and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The results? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation. We cannot afford to sit idly by and let others erode our rights. Like Teddy himself once said, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News, YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, and anytime you want to call, of course, 866-588-8303 is the number. Right now, though, let's find out what's going on in the Florida's Voice newsroom. We call this Top of the News.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. And I believe Anita Padilla is in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Yep, there she is. She's got the latest. What's up?
Hey, Drew, here's what's topping the news at this hour. Lawmakers in Tallahassee are in the final stretch of this year's legislative session, and they just passed a huge bill and sent it over to the governor for his approval. It's the Farm Bill, and this one makes a ton of changes related to the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and it aims to support farmers, ranchers, and growers. Now, if the governor does sign off on this bill, it would mean things like fluoride would be removed from the public's water supply. It would also protect farmers and ranchers from financial discrimination based on any kind of environmental, social governance, or those ESG scores. It also addresses the problems that some of these ranchers are having with drones, too. Florida's Attorney General just announced the creation of a statewide Office of Parental Rights.
Boom!
It's the first in the nation initiative, and it's expected to empower parents and defend their rights in matters that involve their children's health care, education, and personal data. Now, the new office will serve as a resource for families who believe their rights have been violated by schools, governments, or institutions. Myers says, quote, governments should understand that when it comes to raising a child, they don't know best. The parents do. Good news for Fort Myers Beach residents. The town is coming off of probation by FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. Remember when Ian hit the town and devastated it in 2022? And there was flooding everywhere? Well, as a result, FEMA put the town on probation status, which meant about 5,000 local NFIP policyholders were impacted, or they were even facing losing their flood insurance coverage. Well, the town did work really hard to turn things around, working on 5 key areas that FEMA said needed improvements to prevent flooding disasters, and it worked. The town comes off probation in mid-November of this year, and as a result, that $50 surcharge on their policies goes away. Speaking of FEMA, I'll be back at 4:35 to tell you about the 2 Floridians, actually 3 of them, who are going to be part of President Trump's new FEMA Council. Now, these individuals are part of the team that's going to help fix what's being called a terribly broken system. That's in our next hour. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Anita, we appreciate you in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Of course, anytime you want to check out more of the stories that they are working on, you can go to flvoicenews.com. That's the website, Florida's Voice, and right there you can find out everything that they are working on. All right, quickly, a couple of things that are happening. We're going to get to what took place in Canada yesterday, and did you hear about what happened there north of the border? Did you hear?
Prime Minister, right?
Yeah, that's kind of an old, the new old one. It's kind of sort of new middle. They came around recently. Yeah, the libs are still in charge over there, and there are people that are saying things about what. Obviously, they're trying to make comparisons to what Trump has said, and the fact that it looked like the conservatives were in for an easy win, and then Trump comes along and the 51st state stuff, and then all of a sudden everything just went right down the tubes. I have something to say about that. We're going to get to that in just a second. But first, speaking of the president, a little video. Here's the president of these United States moments ago. Making his first 100 days remarks, making his way to Air Force One, and somebody asks him, who would he like to see as the next pope?
Pope? I'd like to be pope.
Wait, can I play that again? I just want to double check I heard what I heard.
As pope? I'd like to be pope. That would be my number one choice. I don't know. I have no preference. I must say we have a cardinal that happens to be out of a place called New York who's very good. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. D, come on.
That was good. Typical Trump.
That was really, really good. So, oh, funny stuff. So there you go. Could you imagine what you want to drive the world crazy? All of a sudden, the smoke goes, we have a pope, and here comes Trump.
It's orange smoke.
Oh, that's not. All right. That's not. That would be. I mean, it would fit, but that's not nice. That's not nice. Send your cards and letters, carry over this station to Big D, and he'll make sure they get filed. All right. So anyway, that was the president a little while ago. You know, they're talking about what happened a little while ago and throughout the day and last night there in Canada, where the prime minister, who was Mark Carney, is Mark Carney, because he still is, because the Libs, the left, won there in Canada. And if you want to hear a little bit about what he thinks about the United States, D, here's a little bit of video for you that we can play so you can listen to the new Prime Minister of Canada. He sounds like he's a super nice guy, loves the United States.
We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history.
Hinge moment of history. All right, so a lot going on there in Canada. New Prime Minister last night. The lefties win.
Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over.
But that doesn't sound very good, does it?
The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over.
No, it's not over. There's a realignment going on. Wait a second. What part of the, hey, you Canada and a lot of other countries have been kind of cheating us a little bit on trade? Then we just like to even it out a little bit. How is that all of a sudden it's over? It's destroyed. Big D, you see how that works? If people don't get exactly, if we can't keep the status quo, like if they can't continue to take advantage of us somehow, some way, it's our fault and everything's over. Like, what is he talking about? Well, I mean, it's obvious what he's talking about, so let him talk a little more. Go ahead.
But it's also our new reality.
I don't even care. Okay, so just in case you're wondering a little bit more on this guy, so Mark Carney is the big leftist the big guy that's now the prime minister who took over for Trudeau. Everybody knows they're Trudeau, right?
LGBTQ2+.
Yeah, that guy. D, we got a little bit of video here just to remind people, if you're saying to yourself, wow, this guy is not happy with the United States. He doesn't sound like someone who likes us anymore, because we destroyed world trade. Really? This is the same guy, by the way, who not too long ago said...
Skepticism about ESG labels or sustainable labels. And that, again, is one of the reasons we're having this ruthless, relentless focus on net zero. Because in the end, look, we can't stabilize the climate unless we get to net zero. And it's a simple, these are hard numbers. Your emissions are either A or B. They're going up or down. And if they're going down, are they going down consistent with the science? We anchor it in the science, the same science the UN and others use.
Okay, yeah. So you can tell right away, right there, that they're doomed. Canada's doomed, completely doomed. I mean, so you got a leader now, the leftist liberal leader there in Canada who believes that we got to get to net zero and we got to do anything and everything we can. Nothing's going to change. It's just going to get worse there. And it's not Trump's fault. You have this woman here who is another video that we're going to play right now. It's because CNN is like, Canadian media projects Liberals win after Trump trolls. That's their, the little lower third there. And so now they find somebody on the streets, an older woman. She seems very sophisticated, and she doesn't seem very happy. What does she say about the results? What's going on?
I think who I voted for would be the best to take care of Trump. Because Trump is, I'm sorry to say, and
we're not going to say that because we're live on the radio. No, we don't do that. Well, what else did she say?
And he shouldn't even be president of the United States. But because he is, we need a strong person so that we could stand strong.
Stand strong to do what? Stand strong for what? Now, again, the country and the media has helped to foment this hatred for Trump, 51st state, Governor Trudeau, the trolling and everything else. But obviously the bottom line is the bottom line. Were they not, like others, treating us well in trade? We're going to just continue with the status quo. So we should just do that. We should continue to acquiesce to China. Make sure that you understand that there's no place else you're going to be able to get your medication, for example, except from China. That's it, full stop. And if China's like, hey, we don't want to send you medication anymore. Sorry, tough luck for you here in the United States, because this is what you bought into. Instead of saying, no, wait a second. China's not exactly a fan of ours. They could do that anytime. I don't like that. Can we make them here? So you have this trade imbalance, and you have Canada who's, all right, maybe they're upset. They're a little hurt because Trump said the 51st state and all that kind of, okay, fine. But I want to read something to you, because to me, this is the bottom line. This is what's so interesting about the take on Canada and Trump. So Guy Benson, right, town hall guy, works Fox News, okay, on his X account last night wrote that the Canadian Liberals were deservedly dead in the water, down 20 points in all the polling due to their dreadful mismanagement of the country and deep unpopularity on the economy, cost of living, crime, you name it. The Conservatives had a talented and disciplined leader who was clearly going to win. Then, after Liberals dumped toxic Trudeau, Trump's tariffs and insulting 51st state trolling arrived like manna from heaven for the ruling leftist party. They made the election all about fighting tariffs and Trump, pivoting away from all the reasons they were set to lose. It worked, a massive reversal. Whoa. Time out. With all due respect to Guy Benson and anybody who thinks this way. If you are a country and everything is going wrong, mismanagement of the country, the economy is bad, deeply unpopular, the cost of living's out of control, crime is out of control, the place is being run by crazy woke leftists, and you've had enough, and things are getting not better but worse, and they've been for far too long, and you're like, change has to come. If you're telling me it all hinged on Trump coming along and trolling about the 51st state, and that's why it flipped, you got bigger issues, right, D? You know what I'm saying? You're telling me that a country turned around and said, we're going to stick it to Trump, and we're not going to vote for the conservative. We're going to vote for the status quo. How about that, Trump?
How did that work out?
Right? What? That's your take? So your hot take is, boy, we really got Trump. You live in Canada. What are you worried about Trump for? Nothing's going to change. So what you did was you got the chance to pat yourself on the back, and like the lady there that cusses, like, I don't want to say like a sailor, because there's a lot of people that cuss. And I mean, I know they say sailors, but everybody cusses. Well, not everybody. I mean, I don't. But you got the cussing lady who's like, I'm just glad we stuck it to Trump. Okay, great. Hey, how's the economy going to do in the future? The cost of living. Hey, how about crime? Anything going to change in Canada? No, but we stuck it to Trump. Okay, great. What a move you all made. Fantastic. Good for you. You got bigger issues. You can go on about Trump and Poilievre or Pierre, the Pierre, I can't say his last name. D, can you say his last name? What is it? Poilievre? It's a Frenchy thing.
Poilievre?
Yeah.
Poilievre?
Oh, look at you. So, yeah, I don't. You can make it all about, well, he should have, he put him in an impossible position because, of course, he was going to go against Trump and be. I hope that all makes sense. Don't blame us. You still have really bad things going on in Canada. Blame your leaders by voting them out. Unless, of course, you decide not to, and in which case, you know the rally cry.
True international effort to pressure.
We'll give that one to you. You can have it. At this point, I don't know what else to say. All right. I know what to say. We got to take a break. And when we come back from break, we will have more from the White House press secretary, along with Treasury Secretary Bassett. I want to make sure that I play that audio coming up because, I mean, every indication is tariffs for taxes. I don't know. And we've got our own tax battle going on here in the state of Florida. You have the Speaker of the House, Daniel Perez, here in Florida, who had a couple of things to say about property tax and going after the governor. Do we have to do this? Do we really have to? Do you have to go after the governor? Really? This back and forth? What have we solved? And you got people like Nikki Fried sitting back and saying, all right, go ahead, keep going. All right, we'll talk about that coming up. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
A Florida man recently swam through an alligator-infested lake to rescue an injured bald eagle and said, quote, "This is the symbol of America, man." While a dude jumping into a lake full of alligators is definitely the symbol of Florida.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a lot of both, so, yeah, there's no doubt about it. By the way, there was a video, I'm trying to think of who it was that put up this video, And I want to say it was Central Florida. Was it Central Florida where there were like a ton of gators? And I forget which river it is. And I should have had the video prepared after this, after that joke there, because I couldn't believe how many gators there were in one area. And it definitely was Central Florida. I know it was, but oh man, I forget now. Hey, speaking of Central Florida, how about this Central Florida? I-4's new 2 lanes open officially today, giving drivers some traffic relief. And anybody who has been, look, if you live in the Central Florida area, if you've driven anywhere through the Auburndale, Polk County, US 27 area, Davenport, if you've been through that area, you know there's a lot of construction still going on all the way heading east as you get to Altamont and downtown. There's still some traffic that's going on, but it is moving fast. But I'll tell you, these congestion relief lanes that they opened up, 6 miles in each direction on I-4 from east of 27 in Polk to World Drive near Disney Springs. And it feels... I mean, to me, it feels like it's forever. I mean, to me, a lot of the construction on I-4 in Central Florida feels like it's been forever. Anyway, although there's no doubt that thanks to the governor, FDOT speeding up the process, it has been a whole lot better. But some of these new sections opened up last week, but now you've got the congestion relief lanes. And it has really, really helped out. 8 months ahead of the previous schedule, the opening of the lanes. And I only bring this up because, number one, anytime there's positive news on the roadways in Central Florida, it's a good thing. Because you all know, and you don't even have to live in Central Florida. If you're driving that way and you're on I-4 and you're near 27, you know exactly what's going on. It's like you could have the best plan. You could be on Waze or your Google Maps or whatever, and you could have the best laid plans to get to Central Florida from the, let's say, from the West Coast, for example, in the Tampa area or Southwest Florida, Sarasota, right? Even the Panhandle, and you're making your way to Central Florida. Well, I guess if you're in Panhandle, you wouldn't go that way, but then thinking of taking I-4, you could have the best laid plans. The minute you hit 27, it's like all bets are off. I have no idea what's going to happen. I just don't know. Can't there be a giant flyover for the people that don't want to stop at Disney? Just keep going. You could go. You're untouched. That's right. I don't know how. Yeah. But anyway, 8 months ahead of schedule. And then the other part of that is that's something that so many people have talked about, whether it's here in the state of Florida or otherwise, is... Look, when it comes to a lot of these construction projects, come on now. It doesn't have to take this long. It just doesn't. We need to speed up the process. And good for the governor for being proactive with that. And he had talked about that in the past and making things happen. So important to get that going with FDOT. And so that's some good news right there. They put the additional lanes first in the stretch that sees the most traffic. To cut down driving time, and it definitely works. So good stuff. All right, on the way, yes, we will have audio from the White House press secretary, and some of what was asked today. And also, first 100 days, you know, the left-leaning media wanted to ask Trump supporters what they think is going on. Oh, they got a mouthful. Wait till you hear coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way. No way. No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, a Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with CoreTech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for CoreTech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my CoreTech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's right there on the other side of the glass. Nina's right around the corner over there in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. Coming up, first 100 days, let's talk about that and some of how the leftist media tried to go to Michigan. You know, big rally tonight, MAGA supporters, and they want to go talk to MAGA. Everything's terrible, right? Horrible. You're hating life. No, not so much. But they tried, so we'll play some of the audio because it's pretty hysterical. And then some of what was said there on Capitol Hill at the White House press secretary's get-together with the lefties and the press. Always a lot of fun. And then we'll get here to the state of Florida, where we will talk about the back and forth, the governor and the Speaker of the House, and he's not doing this, well, he's not doing that, and he's not. Oh, come on now. What's going on here? We were supposed to be finishing up the session. There's a lot of things that are moving, a lot of things going on today. It's been very busy. We're going to get to the good stuff, but also some of the stuff that's not so good. And really, do you want to start blaming people? You would imagine that when you have a supermajority, a fantastic governor, everybody would get together and be like, we've done some really good things. Let's keep this, let's keep the mo. Let's go with the mo. But instead, we can't go with the mo. We got to stop with the pop. How's that, D? Stop with the pop? Go with the mo, stop with the pop? No. Stop and drop? Stop with the pop. No, nothing. I get nothing out of him. Doesn't care. Okay, good. All right, so we move on to this. First 100 days, here you go. The leftist media wants to try and make it sound as if everything's horrible, terrible, bad. It's really bad. Let's play this video clip and see what MSNBC is getting out of some of the MAGA folks and what they think about what's going on in this world.
Are you prepared to pay higher prices for goods?
I've been paying higher prices, sweetie. No less. When Biden got in office, my groceries have doubled, my gas has doubled. No, I'm already used to it. You know, I'm not used to it.
Are you prepared for more? We're looking at, with the tariffs, these are massive tariffs.
No, but it has to happen before it goes back down.
I don't know who this person is, but I love her. I love this person. So, again, hey, sweetie, hold on a second. Let's put that from the beginning.
Are you prepared to pay higher prices for goods?
I've been paying higher prices, sweetie.
Hey, sweetie, I've been paying higher prices. So, you can't get things to go down until you start to level out the playing field. We don't need any more of Biden and that. We just don't need that. So, good for her for just being like, okay, can you stop with this nonsense? Well, of course they can't, because that's not the media's way. They keep trying, though, Come on, let's see. They go to Michigan. Voters reacting to the president. They want to get something bad. Here we go, D. You ready? Let's try this one and see if they get anyone better this go around.
It's doing what needs to be done. It's hard for some people to swallow, but I think we need to see how it plays out, and I believe it'll play out for the betterment of our country.
Yeah, it's betterment of the country. Let's see how it plays out. Yeah, but don't you understand? No, we understand. We know what's going on, and we trust the president. And all the polling, by the way, would suggest that the American people trust what's going on. They trust this president, want to give him some time. It's the first 100 days. He's done a lot. But I guess it depends on who you ask, because if you go to Fox News, apparently Stephen Miller, the White House there, is not very pleased with Fox News and some of the polling that came out. I guess they're saying only 55% of Americans approve of what Trump is doing along the border. And Stephen Miller was like, yeah, I'm not really sure where you're getting this. Forgive us if we don't trust you a ton. But yeah, something's not right here. Here, check this out.
It is our opinion that Fox News needs to fire its pollster. And I won't surprise you with that. I don't think you're surprised that I'm saying that. But the Fox News pollster has always been wrong about President Trump. They were the ones that said all summer long that Kamala Harris was going to be the 47th president of the United States. So we don't acknowledge any of that polling.
Yeah, so that's right. Is that the same dude that was talking Kamala?
It's not Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala Harris.
Just combine comma with law and you get Kamala.
I have to be honest, I was just looking for an excuse to play that because I never know when it's going to come up again. And so when it does, it's always fun. But anyway, yeah, that guy, that pollster, that one that was talking about how Kamala's coming on strong and the country wants her. And is that same guy?
Just going to keep digging this hole deeper and deeper.
Exactly. All right. So I like that. Stephen Miller's like, you kind of been wrong. Your guy's been wrong or your gal's been wrong. I don't know who's been wrong. Somebody's been wrong.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
G's been wrong. I don't know what you're calling. The person who's doing the polls at Fox, maybe they've been wrong. So I like that. And, there are people there at the White House who are like, look, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of good things that are going on. And maybe even some things in the future. For example, when you have the seat now, the new media seat, and a lot of people asking very provocative questions, good questions, not necessarily the provocative to the people that are sitting next to them. And like, you can't ask that question. I just did. The lefty media who's like, you can't have that seat. Too bad. I'm sitting in it. And I don't know who this person is, but it's a new media seat. And they had a chance to ask about tariffs and to the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent.
Tariffs. The president said over the weekend that we are hoping that maybe tariff revenues could replace income tax. But we also keep hearing about the deals that the administration is pursuing. So my question is, what is the White House's ultimate objective here? Do you want to have long-term tariff revenue or deals that might reduce those tariffs?
It's a great question. And it's weird that the left media wouldn't ask anything like that. It would be like, you guys are terrible. You realize the Canadians lost, the Conservatives in Canada lost an election because of Trump. Really? Is that what you think? Like, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. And they think it's cool because they pulled a gotcha on, see what we did? We didn't vote for the Conservative because of Trump. Okay, great. How's the perspective for what's going to be taking place in Canada in the future? Does it look good? Good thing you got Trump. Okay, anyway, I digress. Sorry, a little upset about the whole Canada thing. All right, so what's the answer here? What are we doing with the tariffs?
I think it's a combination of both. So we're going to take in long-term tariff revenue. We put a process in place. We have 18 important trading relationships. We will be speaking to all of those partners, or at least 17 of them, over the next few weeks. Many of them have already come to Washington. What President Trump is referring to is the ability for tariff revenue to give income tax relief. And I think there's a very good chance that we will see this in the upcoming tax bill. The president campaigned on no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, and the restoring interest deductibility for autos, for American-made autos. So tariff income could be used for tax relief on all of those immediately.
Wow. How about that?
So you think that there is a role for significant tariff revenue in U.S. fiscal policy?
I think that it is something that got put away a long time ago, and I think that tariffs will bring back American manufacturing and generate substantial revenue.
How about that? So that is Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who's like, yeah, listen, we can generate some serious revenue here to the point where good chance we'll see it in the upcoming tax bill, and maybe it'll help to pay some of the things that we want to do to give people tax relief, including possibly, who knows, maybe the elimination of some taxes. It's big, no matter what. So let's let it play out, and it is. You know, and we've got our own tax discussion happening here in the state of Florida. Hit me. As you know or don't know, the governor and the legislature, the governor specifically, and the Speaker of the House definitely have had interesting conversations. I'm trying to be nice about the whole thing. It's been a little heated, I guess you could say. You know, one of the things that was being discussed, and let me see if I can find this. First of all, the House Speaker here in the state of Florida, Daniel Perez, today, talking about house property tax and what we can do, because you have, on the one hand, the governor who has been talking about, listen, let's do this. Let's get it under a constitutional amendment, and let's talk about doing something when it comes to property tax relief, maybe the elimination of property tax. All right. It's a big issue. It's a huge undertaking. It's been discussed for years and years and years. Yes, maybe it's just been talked about to silence some people because people get frustrated when it comes to property tax. And it's like, I feel like I don't own this property. I own it, but I'm still paying tax on it. And it's quite substantial. I talked about it, how my dad, who's got the house that he lives in right now that he owns, and he pays a lot of money for an 80-year-old. I'm not allowed to say because he's listening. For a year-old gentleman to pay for a house that's already paid for. It's kind of frustrating for many. And so what can we do? It's something that maybe people, like I said, talked about because they wanted to give it lip service, but they weren't serious about it. Now they've heard enough about it this legislative session. People want something done. And is it too big of an issue to do now, especially with a legislature and a governor who don't seem like they're getting along very well, especially since the beginning of the special with immigration? Hasn't been going very well. So not sure if this legislative session is the one that's going to be making it. Well, we know it's not. But what about the future? So here's the House Speaker Perez today talking about this issue. Here, let's check this out.
What time in order to give stakeholders a meaningful opportunity to engage and make sure that we put the very best proposal or proposals on the ballot as amendments to the Florida Constitution.
Can I just stop for a second? And forgive me, only because it's a pet peeve, all right? And I'm just asking, it's a pet peeve. And yeah, I'll say it anyway, because Dee, you don't mind me bringing up pet peeves, like me pushing buttons when you should be pushing buttons, that kind of thing. Like who's in control here?
Should be or could be.
Okay, this is a pet peeve of mine, and it's got nothing to do with you pushing buttons or me pushing buttons. That's a little inside Drew Steele, Florida's Voice Baseball, because we both have control over the same stuff, and sometimes I'm pushing the buttons, sometimes he's putting the button, whatever I just said. All right. Stakeholders. I don't like when people say, well, we got to talk to the stakeholders. They're people like us, the citizens of the state. I don't know. A lot of different people use the word stakeholders. It just feels so impersonal. It almost, and to me, quite honestly, when people use the word stakeholders, meaning citizens, that feels like the language of the left to me. Now, Dee, do you know what I mean? Maybe not the language of the left part, but do you know what I mean?
That's fair.
It's not. It's very impersonal. It's us. It's the state. It's the citizens. Just say the citizens. Just say the people.
I see where you're coming from. I understand it.
And I know,
get it.
and I understand what he's saying too, because when you say stakeholders, it's like, look, we all have a stake in this, and not just the people, but businesses and tourism, and there's a lot of stakeholders. I don't know. Sometimes, I guess in this case, it's okay, but that's one of those words. It's like a pet peeve. Anyway, what else does he say?
Today, I will be appointing a select committee on property taxes to do this important work. This select committee will meet beginning this week with the goal of producing one or more joint resolutions by the start of our fall committee weeks.
So, oh boy. So he's got a special committee getting together to talk about this for the start of committee in the fall. So, all right.
It is my intention to pass our House property tax plan in the first week of session in January of 2026 for consideration on the November 2026 ballot.
Okay, so it's not happening now. We're not going to talk about this now, but next legislative session, right in. We're starting early. We're going to be having this discussion on this. All right?
I have asked Representatives Toby Overdorf and Vicky Lopez to co-chair the Select Committee on Property Taxes. Members, if you are interested in serving on this committee, please notify the Speaker's office or Chairs Overdorf or Lopez by the end of session today. I will be making these appointments by tomorrow. However, please remember that this select committee will be meeting throughout the rest of spring, summer, and into the fall. So if you are interested, be prepared to work.
Oh, boy. How about that part of it, everybody? So that is the Speaker of the Florida House, Daniel Perez, who's like, okay, I'll tell you what, let's put a committee together. Let's talk about the issue of property tax relief. Let's put it there as something that we can discuss for the ballot in 2026. We'll begin meeting this week with the goal of producing one or more joint resolutions. And oh, by the way, if you're thinking, hey, I'll drop in and drop out every once in a while. No. This baby's going straight through. Now, you're going to be working overtime to make this happen. Now, there are some that would listen to that and say, working overtime to make this happen. It's almost as if you want to make it more difficult, and nobody wants to get on board with that. That's a lot of work, man. When am I going to have any time off for what's supposed to be just a couple of month gig, a little part-time thing, because of what we get paid and stuff like that. When you talk about the Florida legislature, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. So it's almost as if like that's kind of D, you see what I'm saying? Like that kind of sort of. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but that's a fair assessment. Come on now. That's a fair stakeholder assessment. Sorry, I did. You see what I did there?
He's going there.
Yeah, I went there. Okay, if this is what you want, I will make you work for it. That doesn't seem very nice. But at the same time, on the other side of it, it's a big deal. There's a lot involved with it. You can't just toss it out there and say, we're going to eliminate property taxes. Woo! And not try to figure out all the minutiae, the consequences, where we're going to be able to pay for. Okay. So there's a little bit there that makes it a little more involved than just throwing it up right now or saying, we're going to have this legislative session is the one that's going to make this decision and boom, we got to take some time. And as he made this announcement about the creation of the committee, of course, it seems like a day can't go by where you've got to have this back and forth, tit for tat. You got the governor in the legislature or the Speaker of the House against the governor. And the whole, can't we just all get along? Yeah. So now we have this.
Actively engaged in the property tax conversation for the last couple of decades.
Yeah, so he's saying for the last couple of decades, we've been talking about this issue of property tax. Like I said, I think it's been more lip service. I don't think it's been digging deep and really making these bold decisions. But go ahead.
This House has consistently rallied against property taxes as a flawed revenue source, and homestead property taxes specifically as being inconsistent with our belief in private property and the economic mobility that comes with home ownership.
Right.
We have passed a number of laws and placed several constitutional amendments on the ballot. Several months ago, Governor DeSantis introduced the exciting and provocative idea of abolishing property taxes in Florida.
It definitely is exciting. And as he said, provocative. All right, let's see where we're going with this.
Naturally, many of us had the same questions. How would elimination of property taxes work? If property taxes go away, how would local governments pay for the services we expect local government to provide, like police, fire, and infrastructure? Unfortunately, as the weeks have gone by, the governor has yet to come forward with any specific answer to those questions, or with any specific plan, or with actual bill language.
Okay, so that is the speaker who is saying that the governor, no bill language at all, nothing, to which many people were like, well, hold on. I mean, the governor has. It was, as a matter of fact, Brian Griffin, who was mentioning a comms director for Governor DeSantis, who was like, with all due respect, I mean, I'm adding the all due respect part. There was a whole press conference that the governor proposed, a plan for immediate relief that would cost the same amount that the speaker was advocating go to tourists and Canadians and sales tax breaks. And he committed to working with the legislature to get it done. And so it's been out there, as he described. And one thing that somebody said on X that was funny, and I wish, well, let me explain. D, I need you on this. So just listen carefully here for a second, because I'm going to ask you your thoughts and then we'll go with it. We'll see. Somebody said, all you have to do is go on to ChatGPT or go into Grok and just ask, has the governor put forth any proposals that would provide property tax relief for Floridians? And Grok would tell you. By the way, have you used Grok at all? Oh,
I just did it that one time for when we looked up your X profile and I told you everything that it could do. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's the only time I've ever used it.
Okay. So maybe we should, so I was thinking on the air right now, should we do that? Should I ask Grok what this dude is saying? All you had to do is go to Grok.
Let's go for it.
Okay, here we go. You ready? I'm doing this live. Here we go. Let's do this. Hey, how's it going today?
Yo, I'm feeling as sharp as a tack today. How about you? What's the vibe?
My vibe is good right now. I got a quick question. Has Governor DeSantis put forth any proposals that would provide property tax relief for Floridians?
Glad you're in good spirits. Yeah, Governor DeSantis has been pushing some ideas for property tax relief in Florida. He's proposed a one-time $1,000 rebate for homesteaded property owners, which would benefit over 5.1 million households. This would come from redirecting $5 billion originally pegged for a sales tax cut. He's also got a bigger plan to eventually eliminate property taxes entirely.
All right, that's good. I appreciate it. I got to run. I'm doing a radio show, so I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later.
Sweet. Glad I could help. Break a leg on that radio show and hit me up anytime. Later.
I don't want to break a leg. That's going to hurt too much. All right. So somebody said even Grok knows. Apparently Grok knows. What do you think about that, D? That was pretty
impressive.
Yeah,
Can we change the accent on that?
No, well, I mean, I use the guy. I got to be honest. I use the guy's voice. You have the girl or the guy. I use that's the voice I like. I don't know why.
The iPhone's got this nice Australian male accent. Oh, sorry. Oh, hit me with it.
What? What happened?
Please do not.
Okay. Wait.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Okay. What were you going to say?
There is a person on the iPhone now that has a lovely Australian accent. So when you are leaving a voicemail, it's a nice Australian accent. There's English, all these other accents you can choose from, rather than just the original Siri voice.
Why can't it be American? Why can't it be American accent? Why can't
you can?
I like that. I like that. America. Come on. Why is it going to be everybody else's accents? I wonder if people in other countries are like, I like a good American accent on my Grok.
But it's actually a great question.
Yeah, it is that's an excellent question. That's all I deal with is great questions, D. Haven't you learned that about me yet? I'm all about the great questions.
Just starting to learn.
Yeah, thanks. All right, we got to take a break. More from the newsroom coming up in just a minute.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA, is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families, and one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you probably know this. I've had a music career, an EMI published songwriter in the past. I've had a top 20 Billboard hit and movie soundtracks. But I got my start right here in Southwest Florida at Soundcheck Studios with Jim Becker. I worked with Jim when he was producing big names like Castrol and Beck's Beer and other commercial clients from ABC, NBC, CBS. He's done it all. It doesn't make a difference what your musical style is. If you're talking about recording for bands or producing music, jingles, he does it all at Soundcheck Studios. Recently, he worked with RCA artist Doja Cat and also a Sony artist Flipped Arrow. A lot of great artists have made their way through Soundcheck Studios. So if you want to make your brand memorable with a jingle or maybe a commercial you want to cut, or maybe it's a band, give Soundcheck Studios a call today. 239-340-0515. That's 239-340-0515 for Soundcheck Studios.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remained. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide, and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The results? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation. We cannot afford to sit idly by and let others erode our rights. Like Teddy himself once said, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead and in a changing world. You've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, just in case you're wondering, anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook, a big thank you to everybody who's listening across the state of Florida on great affiliates who carry this program live 3 to 6 p.m. and throughout the day. We thank you so much. We are humbled by the fact that you would make us a part of your day. And to those radio stations who carry this program, thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your programming day. It does mean so much to us. And of course, anytime you're out or maybe you missed the program, you want to catch up, find out what happened, you can always go to my personal website, drewsteele.com. Steele has 3 E's. And if you go there, you can listen 24/7. It just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Get those doggies. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, let's move on. Now, it's time for Top of the News.
Top of the News, Florida's headlines.
Now. Sorry about the doggy thing. It's Dee's fault. He's got the puppy. All right, Anita Padilla is in the Florida's Voice newsroom. She's got the latest, what they're working on. What's up?
Hey, Drew, we've got some great news for some 5,000 Fort Myers Beach residents, and it means $50 is coming off your flood insurance policy. That story in just a moment. But first, topping the news, Florida's Attorney General just announcing the creation of a statewide office of parental rights. Now, this is the first in the nation initiative, and it's expected to empower parents and defend their rights in matters that involve their children's health care, education, and personal data. Now, this new office will serve as a sort of resource for families who believe their rights have been violated by schools, governments, or institutions. Myers says that governments should understand that when it comes to raising a child, they don't know what's best. The parents do. President Donald Trump adding some Floridians to his new FEMA Review Council. Among them, Florida's Kevin Guthrie, the executive director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management. Nice. He's the man that you always see at the helm of these emergency efforts and disaster zones. Yep. Situations like hurricanes, storms, power outages. Also added to the team is Tampa Mayor Jane Castor, who is a Democrat, and Miami-Dade County Sheriff Rosie Cordero Stutz. They're going to be joining several others to help fix what's being called a terribly broken system, and they are tasked with putting each state at the forefront of their own emergency response. Now for that good news in Fort Myers Beach. The town is coming off of probation by FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. And this is great news for about 5,000 people who've been paying a $50 surcharge each month on their flood insurance policies. So you remember when Ian hit the town and there was flooding everywhere? Yeah. It just devastated that town back in 2022. Oh, yeah. Well, as a result, FEMA put the town on probation status, which meant that local NFIP policyholders were impacted and they faced even losing their flood insurance coverage, and they were hit with that surcharge. Well, the town really worked hard to turn things around, working on 5 key areas that FEMA said needed to change. They needed improvements to prevent flooding disasters, and it worked. The town comes off probation status in mid-November of this year, and as a result, that $50 surcharge on the policies goes away. There you go. All right, that's it for now. Be sure to check out our webpage, flvoicenews.com, for more content like this. Also, keep up with us around the clock on our social media pages. We're on X, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director for Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, Anita, we appreciate you there in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime, like she said, you want to check out the stories they're working on, flvoicenews.com. It's on your screen. You can see that. One thing I wanted to mention, oh boy. Oh, yeah, I'll go there because, I usually do. All right, let's go there. So I see the story, and she just mentioned the story at FL Voice News, and the discussion about Florida's Kevin Guthrie, who's amazing, and Trump naming a couple of people right here from the state of Florida as part of the FEMA Council. And as the story goes, placing multiple Florida names on his new FEMA Review Council, tasked with helping to fix a terribly broken system, no doubt about it. But the state's at the forefront of emergency response. The concern was always recently, in recent history, the concern was always about, hey, wait a second, North Carolina after Milton and Helene and the storm that rolled through North Carolina, and the lack of response from the Biden administration was horrible. Full stop. And like, what's going on here? So when the president talks about a terribly broken system, he's right. And making sure that states are at the forefront. The Florida Division of Emergency Management Executive Director Kevin Guthrie was on the list. Fantastic. Also on the list was Tampa Mayor Jane Castor. Along with Miami-Dade County Sheriff Rosie Corderos. But Jane Castor. Now, forgive me. The FEMA shouldn't be political. The safety and well-being and the help that needs to be provided to people after horrible storms and the like should not be political. But, say it with me, D, but Democrats. Because it feels like only Democrats could be like, North Carolina, we'll get to you, don't worry. Oh, it's a good thing you got the Amish. No, I'm not kidding. That's still a story to this day. The Amish showing up. Right, D? Have you seen those stories? They're all over the place. The Amish showing up and building houses still in North Carolina. Well, what's going on here? I mean,
I saw the original ones. It's still going viral?
Yes. Well, they are still working hard. Yes,
good for them.
Absolutely.
They come out and vote for Trump in waves, and now they're building homes in waves. Look at them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thanks, D. But at the beginning, remember that whole thing? It's like, all right, we'll come and help. It shouldn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be political. So forgive me if I get a little worried when I see Democrats on the list of people, because I know people get upset with me right now. I'm like, well, what are you saying? You're saying just because somebody's a Democrat, they wouldn't do the right thing when it comes to emergency management and the help that people need? Well, I don't know. You got Joe Biden. You have the Biden administration. You got North Carolina. So, I don't really have the best of examples. Forgive me. So when you say you shouldn't put politics in it, you can't live in the world that you want to live in. You got to live in the world that exists. And the one that exists says, I got doubts. So when Tampa Mayor Jane Castor was also on the list, and I'm sure she's a very nice person, ideologically speaking, I disagree. But just so we understand, Tampa Bay Times published January 15th, 2021, asked earlier this week if she supported the U.S. House of Representatives' impeachment effort against Trump. She said yes. For the health and well-being of the country, he should be kept from running for office in the future. Castor said, a Democrat. Now, you can finesse your way through this and say, well, that Tampa Bay Times story had to do with what was going on in 2021 and what was happening with COVID. And it was an interview with the Tampa Bay Times. She's going to wait to get the coronavirus vaccine until she feels like it's appropriate to do so. And, it had to do a lot with the thinking of, helping older Americans and getting out there and getting it out to first responders. No adverse reactions that I'm aware of. It's the biggest influence we have in the community. I don't think so. So the whole discussion here was all about COVID and vaccines and everything else. But forgive me if without any kind of, and maybe there was, and maybe there has been, and if there has been, I most certainly will do a fact check and come back on this radio station and tell you I was wrong, because I'm one of the few hosts that will tell you when they're wrong. But I don't know if there's ever been a mea culpa like, you know what? I was wrong about Trump. As far as keeping him from running for office in the future. Because what does it look like to keep somebody from running for office in the future? I think if you're a human being, I don't care which political party you're in, I think if you're a human being and you've been in the United States long enough, I think, on this planet, I think you recognize the lengths to which certain people will go to make sure that somebody doesn't run for office again. And sometimes it's crazy and sometimes it's horrific. So it just bothers me that, there's been a lot of the president doing a lot of outreach. And I love that. I love that the president invited The Atlantic to sit with him and do an interview, even though they hate his guts. I'll just say it. Me personally, that's my personal opinion. The left hates his guts. Like they will kind of schmooze you in and bring you in slowly, and then knock you out politically. Not literally, but figuratively. They bring you in, they suck you in, and then boom. And it's happened time and time again. And good for him for being a good person, as he is, to say, all right, a little softer tone. Let's talk. Let's have the conversation. And it's a beautiful thing what the president is doing. But, say it with me, D. But Democrats. As long as they exist and the left exists, same thing. You can't trust them. And so bringing in a Democrat to talk, I don't know what her perspective is. I don't know if they've had conversations behind the scenes and he's like, yeah, I'm cool with her. Everything's fine. We're good. But I know that there are some stories that are out there that have me hesitating. Like I see Libs at TikTok just a little while ago who was hearing from reliable sources that John Braga was about to be promoted, a woke political activist who promoted LGBTQ pride and signed a memo demanding the Army follow DEI initiatives. Not only shouldn't this person be promoted, but they shouldn't be anywhere near the Trump administration, but somehow that person that Breitbart had a big story about back in February, that there was plenty of documentation to prove what she has been writing about since February, and that there's going to be promotions and everything else. And like, this shouldn't be happening. I don't know if that's bad advice. I don't know if that's a reaching out to say, hey, things are different. We're not doing this. It's not going to be happening this way. You can stay and be promoted, but it's a different game now. It's a different time. We're not doing what Biden was doing. We're not doing what other administrations were doing. We're not. And then you have to trust that they are going to follow the directive of the commander-in-chief. Say it with me, D. But Democrats. And I don't know if John Bragg is the Democrat or not, but do you see what I'm saying? So the president of the United States has been really good at making sure that the tone lately has been, what's a good word? Congenial? D, is that the right word?
What are you trying to portray?
I'm saying that the president has been very open to having discussions with people. Bill Maher to the White House, the Atlantic to have a conversation. What's the word I'm looking for? I said congenial. Is that the right word?
That's like pleasant.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So he's being pleasant with the crazy left, and maybe it's like, look, why don't you talk to me? Why don't we talk to each other? Let's get to know each other. Get to know me. And interestingly enough, there have been a few people, and I think I can find that audio maybe after the break, of this person from The Atlantic who was on with Jen Psaki. And Jen Psaki on the program on MSNBC, we watch so you don't have to. It's like, he's mean, he's awful, he's terrible, right? Wasn't it horrible? And she's like, no, actually, he was pretty cool. Everything was great. Everything was fine. He's very charismatic. We had a nice conversation. Like, they wanted to be so bad and so awful, and they were like, no. I don't know if they're changing their ways. I don't know if they're trying to be open like he's trying to be open, but you just can't let your guard down. That's all. And I don't think the president's letting his guard down by any stretch of the imagination. I worry about the other people that are around him and making sure that anybody who are involved in bringing people in and bringing people on board, different committees and different parts of what would be the office of fill in the blank, just making sure that, okay, we're on the same team, right? You realize it's a new day. It's a new time. It's a new era. Okay, just want to make sure. That's all. It's just me. All right, 866-588-8303. That's the phone number. Anytime you want to call, you are more than welcome to do it each and every day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. We are live. If you call anytime after that, it'll just be ringing on you. Nobody's going to pick up. So, yep, we would love to hear from you. When we come back, we will have more for you, including, let's see if I can find that audio. Howard Lutnick has been trending on social media. Why? You would like to know. It's very important. We'll get to that and more coming up. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
We ordered in food. This is an Italian place. New food! Yeah, we got tortellini minestrone. I also ordered chicken cacciatore with some rice. Guys, does this look so good? I like this. Who wants soup and who wants chicken?
All right, so this is either really awesome or really horrible. So, D, I'll bring you in on this one. A mom posted this hack on TikTok. So the hack, quote unquote, on TikTok is she makes a homemade dinner, but then she puts it into containers, staples it in a brown paper bag so it looks like takeout, and then she brings it for the kids. So they think it's not her cooking. They think so.
That is funny.
It's funny, but
not okay.
No,
it's funny.
No, number one, it's lying to your children. It's a bad start right there. Okay, you're lying to the kids. Number one. Number two, it doesn't say a whole lot about your cooking. Apparently, they're not real big fans of your cooking. So I guess, or maybe they are and they don't know it. Nah, I guess it doesn't say a lot about your cooking. Maybe it says a lot about takeout. I don't know. Okay, it's just, is it a good thing to lie to your kids like that? That to me seems
no.
It's horrible. Like, how is there? What's the positive there? Isn't it awesome? I fooled my kids, and now it's on TikTok. It's in the social media universe forever. So when the kid's 21 years old, they're going to be like, Mom, what did you do? How could you do this to us? This is terrible. And the food really wasn't that good. We just said it was really good because we thought it was takeout, but we hated it. And you cooked it. I don't know if that's, maybe that's not really what they would say, but I'm just trying to think of the most dramatic position to take on it. So there you go. Mom makes her homemade food look like takeout, so the kids will eat it. All right, for all you kids out there, eat your peas. Just eat them. I don't care what color they are. I don't care if you think they're mushy. They're good for you. Eat them. I'm not saying that I say that to my son often, but I may have just said it last night. True story. By the way, speaking of moms and true stories, D, can I tell you this one? Are you ready? Here it is.
Ready.
I'm driving in the car and I see this woman and she's got the bumper sticker on the back, and it's a new style one. It says "baby on board." You know the baby on board stickers, right? And
yep.
This is not a good story. It's a horrible story. So I see the baby on board. I'm like, oh, look at that. It's like a newfangled or new fashioned baby on board sticker. I haven't seen anything like that. So I guess, she's cool, younger person. I'm assuming, I don't know. Looks nice, the car and everything else. Okay. I pull up next to her. Kid's in the back. She's lighting up a cigarette with the windows closed. Oh my. I couldn't believe it. There's a baby in the back and she's lighting up a cigarette in the car with the windows shut because it's hot. The air conditioner's on. It's horrible. I don't even know what to say about it. Like, what do you do when you see something like that? Well, you can't do anything.
You do what you're doing. You share this crazy story with someone else.
Oh, man. Maybe we have to get together and figure out what collectively, I hate to use the word collectively, but what do we do as Americans, as concerned citizens? Do you beep your horn? What do you do at that point? Like, I don't want to distract her.
Let him be.
I just feel, oh man, I felt so bad. It's like, goodness. All right, what a way to hit the break. Sorry to bring everybody down. It was started well enough. Well, with the mom trying to fool her kids with the food. It spiraled out of control. All right, who knows what's coming up next hour? We've got a lot going on. Always enjoy the breaking news, so we might have some breaking news out there. We'll keep an eye on what's going on here in the state of Florida, obviously, with supposedly the end of the legislative session, not happening. But we do know that there is a bill heading to the desk of the governor that has been discussed many, many, many times out there. I wonder what he'll do. Which one am I talking about? We will talk about it coming up in just a few more minutes with you. My name is Drew Steele, and this is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important. We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? Now might be the perfect time to go on offense and seize the opportunities presented by the new pro-business environment ushered in by President Trump and his administration. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you. They create strategies designed to help manage taxes, control risks, and boost your financial confidence. It's a forward-thinking approach that can strengthen your foundation so you can enjoy the lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to see how Alfie's team can help elevate your plan, call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and discover proactive strategies to help you thrive in an ever-changing world. Again, text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Let Alfie Townsend and the Advantage Retirement Group team guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
I've been dipping snuff for well over 30 years. You know, I could wake up in the morning and have a weird lump in my gums. Guess it's like playing Russian roulette, really. I would love grandchildren. And if by quitting it extends my life some, I would gladly lay it down.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
Today, push harder, push forward, push vigorously.
There are things that I am hiding from people that I'm trying to inspire.
You can do whatever you set your mind to.
I feel like a hypocrite a lot of the times.
Don't give up on yourself ever.
Smoking, I hide it because I'm ashamed of it. I want to get out of the shadow. I want to show people there is light away from the darkness. I am going to quit.
Visit tobaccofreeflorida.com to find free resources to help you quit your way.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move, when being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays, when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and you know I love the Floor Meisters in Naples. Locally family-owned business, 3 generations of Meisters. Listen, what are you looking for? Carpet, tile, hardwood, Core-Tech? Maybe that's what you're looking for. And why don't we talk to TJ Meister right now of the Floor Meisters and find out what's going on with Core-Tech. What's up, TJ?
Well, we're just keeping up with the demand for Core-Tech. Just had to order a truck and bring it in from the West Coast of the United States to keep up with all the needs and wants of the people of Southwest Florida. Somebody doesn't have it, give me a call. I probably do.
I tell you, I love my Core-Tech floor. People love it. What is it about it that makes it so awesome?
Well, it's waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof. So if you got a pool, no problem. If you got a dog, no problem. If you got a husband that spills, no problem.
Floor Meisters, that's who I trust, and you should as well. 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples. 239-596-4964 for the Floor Meisters.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go!
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
Hey, you got this. Just breathe. Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, everybody. Glad to see you here. Thanks for joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D's right over there on the other side of the glass. Nina's in the breaking newsroom. She's back from 2 weeks in Stag. Well, she didn't tell anybody where we just guessed where she was. You hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. And once again, if Nina's there, Nina, go ahead. Tell everybody on the radio that you exist and where you were, just because people don't even think that you're real. So where were you? And let everybody know. You can crack the mic. It's okay. It's all right. You can do it. You can do it. It's okay. All right. She's too shy. She does not want to do it. All right. That's fine. No problem. Coming up in just a little bit, the first 100 days... the mainstream media, the fake news, legacy mainstream media, all over this first sit down and talking to Trump, trying to figure out what's going on here. ABC News, and try to figure out everything's terrible, right? It's horrible. No. It's not as bad as you're describing it. And he sat down with the president, so we'll play some of that audio. Also, Representative Anna Paulina Luna had a couple of things to say on her social media account today about what's going on with making some of the executive orders of the president permanent. How many of you have reached out to this program and asked that very same question? Like, what's going on here? You working on any of this? Because all these executive orders could be flipped the next time there's a Democrat. So let's stop. All right, so we'll get to some of that coming up. Oh, look at this. Hold on a second. Brendan Leslie's on the phone right now. He's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. I don't know what's going on, but he's there. What's going on with you?
Oh, just here to correct the record.
Oh,
as always. That's all we do.
What?
Just tell the truth.
Well, wait a second. Is it me? Did I do so? What did I do? By the way, Brendan Leslie is the founder of Florida's Voice. Just in case you're wondering who he is. Correct what record? Whose record? What did I do?
These environmental terrorists out there that want to make sure that we never get to use the beautiful lands that is Florida.
Okay, so
and more specifically as Captains for Clean Water.
All right, so there are some people out there who are environmental groups who it seems as if are not exactly on board with conservationists, conservatives, and the like. And what are we setting the record straight on? Explain, because I have no idea.
Well, here's what happened.
Yeah.
On Friday, Tucker Carlson was in Naples, and he gave a speech, and he basically slammed Governor Ron DeSantis for being paid off by these environmental groups that lie about the water quality issues. So environmental groups throughout Florida, by the way, just for the record, for everyone to understand, if you're a conservative and a conservationalist, if you ever hear someone call themselves an environmentalist, you instantly turn the other way and walk away because they don't know what they're talking about. Environmentalism is when people try to basically box off the resources. They don't want us to use the land. They don't want us to be stewards of the land. They just want to box humanity out of it.
Yeah, so
conservation
that's a great
is
point.
when you are an actual steward of the land, use the land, replenish the resources, and take care of it as God intended. Right? Right, Drew?
Yeah, so, no, it's a very important point and distinction that there are environmental groups that believe that less humans is better for the planet, and that we should, that the trees speak and the grass flows and everything else. And if human beings are trampling on it, then we don't care about the people. We care more about the plants and the like.
Yeah. So Captains for Clean Water, pretty well-known group here in Florida. Their sole mission is to go around the state and lie and say that all the water quality issues are because of our farmers. They like to specifically say big sugar is the reason for all these issues. And they pretend that the only farms in the middle of the state of Florida are sugar farms. Meanwhile, during the winter months, did you know, Drew, actually, I know you know, it's the hypothetical for really our listeners here, but did everyone that is listening to this know that during the winter months, Florida provides fruits and vegetables for 180 million people? There's a lot of farms in Florida that are not sugar. Yes, there's a lot of sugar farms. No one is denying that.
You're talking about in the EAA specifically, right? South of the lake. Yeah.
So when Captains for Clean Water goes around demonizing U.S. sugar and tells everyone that that's like all the only farms out there, what they're really doing is hurting all of our farmers. It's not hurting just U.S. sugar. It's hurting everyone. So Tucker Carlson, who is quite an intelligent man, if I do say so myself, was speaking about this in a speech, and he said that these conservation groups propped up by Governor Ron DeSantis are lying to everyone and blaming the farmers for water quality issues. I mean, what sense does it even make? Like, go out into the middle of the state, go visit these farms and tell me that their air and water is bad. You won't, because it's crystal clear out there. It's beautiful, actually. So Tucker pointed that out. He said it in the speech. Florida's Voice reported that. And now Captains for Clean Water are, not only are they running to fake news media, begging reporters to do stories against Florida's Voice. We actually had reporters reach out to us questioning our reporting. And when I corrected the record, all of a sudden those stories went bye-bye. So because the fake news media didn't push fake news, believe it or not, for once in their life. So you know what? I'm just going to call them mainstream media. You earned that right since you didn't push the fake story. Captains are now putting out this little ridiculous social media video saying that Florida's Voice is lying about what Tucker said. Tucker never named us specifically in the video, so clearly he's not talking about us. Drew, I'm going to pull a term from you that you like to use. Full stop. He is talking about you guys. He is talking about environmental groups who lie to the public and blame farmers for water quality issues. That is Captains for Clean Water, period, full stop. Did I do it right? Was that the Drew Steele term?
Sure, that works.
So don't be crying on social media because you got called out by a very respected conservationalist. Maybe you should just kind of look into the mirror and say, maybe we are the issue. Maybe we are the propaganda that you are. Maybe you're projecting onto Florida's Voice what you really are, and that is just paid propaganda. So again, few things here. If anyone tells you they're an environmentalist, instantly ignore them because they do not want you to enjoy the great lands of Florida. And if Captains for Clean Water is out there and someone's saying, oh, it's big sugar, that's the problem, ask them to explain themselves because they're not going to be able to. Tucker was making a really good point, and Drew, you were there too listening to this. Yeah. He was saying a lot of the water quality issues, it's not farmers. It's a lot of this runoff coming from
golf courses.
Big developments. Yeah, golf courses, gas stations, big develop, all these developments.
Yeah. the density.
And he's right.
Yeah, well, and he also is concerned about, Tucker was also concerned about density issues going on here in the state of Florida. As long as people continue to move here, and we've got to put the people someplace. If you're dreaming of a day when we're going to get back to the early 20th century and the way Florida looked then, it's never going to happen. Forget it. It's not. Right. Number one. Number two, people love golf courses. They're always going to be around. They're not going to go away. They're not going to all of a sudden be filled with beautiful trees, although they have trees on them and beautiful lawns, but they have to be kept a certain way. And in order to keep them, there's going to be this runoff. There's going to be the issues of density. And I think one of the other issues becomes what I talked about and what we talked about, and even on that night, what we discussed, which is, you can't have this one-way street when you're talking about the environment, or you're talking about conservationism, or you're talking about the state of Florida and caring about clean water and clean air and everything else. You can't have a one-way street. Like, it can't be just one person. I'm sorry. You've got one boogeyman. It's the big sugar issue, and that's it, period, full stop. No, that's not. If you don't have an all-in approach, and you're not willing to talk about north of the lake, and you're not willing to talk about all of it, then forget it. Then we're out. You have to be.
Yeah, listen,
because it's not. It's being disingenuous.
I got to give guys like Agriculture Commissioner Wilson Simpson and a lot credit for here in the state of Florida when it comes to conservation. Because if you think about it, yes, we have a lot of development, but Florida has done a really good job at kind of protecting and shielding the middle of our state. Like, if you look at a map of Florida at night, you're going to see lights up and down the coast, but right in a big middle strip throughout the entire state of Florida is just kind of like dark, right? That is what is known as the wildlife corridor. That's where all our farms are. That's where all the conservation land is, so that our wildlife have a habitat to live in. And Florida is doing a good job at making sure that that is not getting overdeveloped. The problem is there is many places along the coast that are getting developed, and water flows south. So all that runoff that's coming from, let's say, Orlando, for example, is flowing down south in Florida into Lake Okeechobee, bringing all that dirty nutrients from Orlando into Lake Okeechobee. And then when Lake Okeechobee is full of water, the Army Corps of Engineers has to discharge that water, because if you don't, you're risking millions of lives with a devastating flood like we saw back in, I believe it was the 1920s. And so that dirty water now gets discharged down the Caloosahatchee and the St. Lucie rivers to the east and west coast. And now you got all that dirty water and algae problems on the coast, because it all started up in Orlando. And I tell you all this to say, if Captains for Clean Water were serious about solving the issue, they would be saying, well, hold on, maybe we should stop the flow of water from Orlando to Lake Okeechobee so that it doesn't get overflown, and then we don't have to send all this dirty water to the east and west coast and the Everglades. But no, they never talk about that, Drew. They never talk about the real solution to the problem. Do you know why? Again, this is a hypothetical question. I know you know why, but I'm going to answer my own hypothetical question here.
Okay.
They don't want to solve the problem, because then that means they have nothing to complain about and fundraise off of. Travis Thompson of All Florida was just on your show yesterday talking about these environmental groups and how they do absolutely nothing. Captains for Clean Water, credit to them. They admit that they do nothing. They put out like a progress report of their last year of achievements they did. It was like 3 things, and 2 of them are like fancy fundraisers. They don't do anything other than spin crazy left-wing propaganda on social media and blame our farmers for issues that is not their faults. And they're doing it because they're anti-farmers. And I'm sorry that I get so passionate about this. I'm sorry that I step up to bat with these bearded losers. It's because there is nothing more important to our nation than our food security. Attacking farming is a national security issue. And China's been doing it. The liberals have been doing it. The left-wing mainstream media is doing it. And now Captains for Clean Water, you lump them in with those group of leftists. They are against our farmers. They are trying to rid our state of farmers, because you know what? The people that support them are big developers. And the big developers would really love that land that the farmers occupy right now. So there you go. Full circle connection right there. Don't trust anyone that says they're an environmentalist. Just don't. I know these videos on social media are so catchy. I get it. Our video of Tucker Carlson was a catchy social media video. But I implore everyone, when you see something on social media, always ask yourself the question of like, what are the true motives here? And just dig a little bit further. That's all. That's all, Drew. That was it. I think I hit all my points. Anything else?
How else is your day going? Everything okay? You mean?
I mean, it's pretty good. I'm just so sick of this.
Yeah,
Drew.
no more coffee.
I'm sick of our farmers being demonized at every political convenience for anyone. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I get it. And listen, it's and for me, is that it? I gotta go. We got a lot of other news and stuff popping, so I'm going to kind of run. But I'm glad you came on, and I'm glad you. Yeah. So good to hear from you again. I'll see you.
Great.
Okay. See you. There he goes. Okay. There's Brendan Leslie, the founder of Florida's Voice, there joining us for a few minutes, and had to get a couple things off his chest. I get it. For me ultimately, and remember at the end of the day, number one, it's not personal. It's the politics of what's going on. It's not personal. Number two, you gotta, again, we talked about it yesterday. I don't want to belabor the point, but it's got to be an all-in approach. You've got to talk about everything. You can't dismiss anything. And once you start hearing people that say, no, it's not that, it's this. Okay, then I'm out. Because I think it's that too. You got to talk about everything. And if you can't have the conversation, and then the other thing is, there's a couple of other things, but we just want to make sure that certain groups, as long as we just keep an eye on these stories. We just want honest brokers. We just want people that want to do what's best for the state and don't have a specific agenda in mind. That's what I care about. Overall, that's it. I care about keeping this state red, keeping it conservative first, red, but certainly keeping what good things we have been doing going, and then certain things that need to be recognized and talked about, like this issue, we need to do it. Okay, let's move on here. What else do we got going on here at Florida's Voice? All right, hit me. Let's do this video. This is Anna Paulina Luna, who was walked up to Speaker Johnson's office and had a few things to say. We're going to play this video clip right now. Let's see what Representative Anna Paulina Luna had to say.
Hey everyone, so I saw a lot of inquiry on timeline. When is Congress going to do their job and codify President Trump's agenda? Mind you, this came after I did a posting that actually explained the process on how it works for bringing legislation to the floor.
Yep.
So I actually stopped Speaker Johnson on the floor today and I asked him, I said, look, we are getting a lot of questions. Obviously, and rightfully so, it's been the first 100 days. I feel like we haven't really done much, and the American people feel the same way in regards to codifying President Trump's agenda and getting this stuff written in stone so that a next administration can't easily come in and reverse course.
Thank you.
And he did inform me that the White House congressional legislation team came over. They actually went through, prioritized the executive orders that President Trump has signed into law. Mind you, it's been over 100, so there's been a ton of them. And we are going to start the rollouts on those votes in the upcoming weeks. Mind you, at the same time, a lot of inquiry on when are we going to actually put in stone ending taxes on tips and Social Security. That will happen once reconciliation is passed, and we are currently marking up all the bills out of committees for reconciliation. One big, beautiful bill.
All right, one big, beautiful bill. There you go. There's Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who's like, listen, when are you going to do this? She's awesome. And I'm glad she did that. That's the kind of bold moves we need. What are we doing? When are you going to start moving some bills along so we can get this process going so that we don't have some knucklehead come along and next thing you know it.
And I'm a knucklehead at times.
There's a Democrat comes along and you have a Democrat president. It's like, all right, we're just going to reverse all these executive orders because you did absolutely nothing at the end of the day. You got a little bit of time to have people see what it is you stand for and all of these different things going on. But at the same time, nothing's in stone. So look at that. What did you ultimately get done for her? President sitting down with ABC. President Trump sits down with Terry Moran. First broadcast interview of the second term, first 100 days. It's, All right, so let's see how, let's do some video here. D, let's check this one out. President sitting down with Terry Moran.
You said, quote, hang tough.
It won't be easy. You said that to the American people. Is that what Americans should expect? Some hard times?
I've said that during my campaign. Look, we want.
Okay, let me stop for a second. When he says hang tough, that means hang on. Just wait until we get. Does that mean we're going to hit hard times? I don't know that hang tough necessarily means it's going to be hard times. I mean, it's like hang tough.
The campaign by a lot. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote by a lot. You know, we had a tremendous campaign. I said all of these things during my campaign. I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline is down, groceries are down, egg prices are down, many things are down, just about everything. You know, you don't have the drop in fuel and energy and oil like we did. I took it from maybe $3.20, maybe more than that, down into a much lower number. When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Let me just stop for a second. So good stuff from the president. I want to see if I could back up for a second to these questions that the Tamara Rand from ABC was asking.
I said, you're going to have a transition period. We've been ripped off by every country all over the world. They're laughing at us. They thought we were stupid people, and we were. And I said, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that happen.
Hard times? So are we looking at hard times? And the president says...
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I think great times are ahead.
I think great times are ahead. You know, I'm going to say so. D, I'm going to say something provocative, and I want to see what you think about what I'm about to say, because hard times are ahead. The president's like, no, I think great times are ahead. I wonder if you can equate what's going on right now with, oh boy. Here, I'll say it. All right. Pregnancy. All right, D. Did I lose you, D? Are you still with me?
Where are we going?
Okay. If you were to tell somebody, a young person sees a beautiful baby, they are looking forward one day to having a baby. Beautiful. Life is beautiful. Baby's beautiful. But there's a process in having the baby. And I ask women what it's like to have babies. It's not exactly smooth sailing. But that result at the end is a beautiful baby. I was going to say big, beautiful baby. In my case, 9 pounds, 10 ounces. That's what I said. Big baby. Beautiful baby. Maybe not me, but others. So, are you suggesting that the tough times that you have getting ready for and then said birth aren't worth the results? Like, hard times. Okay, well then let's not have babies. Hey, let's not do hard things. Because if it's hard, then why do them? I mean, yeah, but the results are awesome. Yeah, but you know what? It's tough. And if it's going to be tough, I like things easy. Yeah, but nothing comes easy. All right, well then I guess I won't have anything. No. I'm not buying that. D, does that make sense? I mean, maybe the pregnancy was a really bad way to go and a little provocative. Maybe that's a...
It wasn't bad. It made sense, but yeah, a little provocative. Okay. It makes sense.
But you know what I mean. I mean, you'd hate to say... You would hate it if somebody was like, oh, I'm not doing that. I mean, I've never heard anybody say that, quite honestly. Because they know, at the end of the day, it's a beautiful life that's brought on into this world. It's awesome. And it's worth it. And so, I hate to compare this and, you know, what's to childbirth, but you get the point. The left is, and definitely the left doesn't like to do hard things. The only hard things they like to do is key cars and burn things and destroy things and smash things. Those are the hard, but those aren't really hard things. They're easy things, especially if you don't get caught. But the hard things you have to do in life, not because it's hard, and then I'm gone. No, you do the hard things in life for the result, for the end result, for you, for your family, for the future, for the country. And the left doesn't get that. Well, I mean, they do get it. They don't want to do it. No, I guess we got to go back to the way things were. Okay. Yeah, it's It's hard buying a car. Yeah, well, why don't let's get back on horses. Why don't we just ride horses around? That's a good thing. Forget your car. Take your car back to the dealer. Or don't even bother buying a car. It's a hard thing. It's hard to get enough money to buy a car. Just get a horse. I know, that's a really bad analogy, too. I don't really know how much a horse costs these days. But anyway, I hope you... Hey, top 5 audio clips of the day on the way. It's my top 5 coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. Is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
What I know about courage, I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remained. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide, and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The results? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wild lands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation. We cannot afford to sit idly by and let others erode our rights. Like Teddy himself once said, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena.
To some, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much, but that's not true. They're testing out vowels and consonants and trying different sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on meaning, especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Learn more at autismspeaks.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. There's the phone number. And anytime you want to watch at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook. All right, it is 5:35, and that means around here, it is the top 5 audio clips of the day. It is my top 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
New polling shows Democratic leadership with only a 27% approval. It's a record low for the party in CNN polling back to 2008. What do they need to do? What is their challenge?
Well, the challenge is that they've gone on the Senate side incredibly ineffective and, frankly, out of touch leadership that has no idea how to offer an alternative to Donald Trump. They don't want to bash it, slap around the president. What they want is that agenda delivered in a more efficient, more effective, more compassionate way. And so I'm looking for that. And with the exception of Cory Booker, who delivered a 25-hour explanation of how they can do better, I've not really seen that. You've got AOC, who's very public out there, but very extreme.
Wow. So that is CNN pollster Frank Luntz, who's on CNN as they are having a conversation about the Democrat Party. And they're trying to figure out like what they're going to do next in the communication. Their record low approval ratings for Democrat leadership. Like what do we do next? And he's like, listen, I don't know. I have no idea how they're going to offer an alternative. You got AOC, you can bring AOC as your alternative. Let's just put it this way. It's a mess. Here we go, D.
Number 4.
It is our opinion that Fox News needs to fire its pollster. And I won't surprise you with that. I don't think you're surprised that I'm saying that. But the Fox News pollster has always been wrong about President Trump. They were the ones that said all summer long that Kamala Harris was going to be the 47th president of the United States. So we don't acknowledge any of that polling.
Yeah, we're to your face. So there's Stephen Miller from the Trump White House, and he's standing next to, I forget the name of the host from Fox News, right there on the program. And the Fox poll says only 55% approve of Trump on the border. And Stephen Miller, who's the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Policy, is like, forgive us if we don't trust you because you did the whole Kamala Harris thing and, she's going to win and all of this. And I'm not sure that you were right about any of that. And so if we decide that we're not going to necessarily listen to your pollster, you probably should even decide to fire that pollster because...
Just going to keep digging this hole deeper and deeper.
I know, right?
Number 3.
We build this world from love, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da. Then God will build this world from love.
I can't do it. Hey, D, guess what it is?
Make it stop.
We joke often on this program about how the left keys cars, burns buildings, smashes windows, and sings songs about stuff. It's what they do. They're crazy. And so there's another example of a crazy lefty that's doing a sing-along while protesting Trump during a 12-hour sit-in there on the steps, because you can't have a sit-in without some crazy lefty singing a song about how bad Trump is. And no, here's the truth. You really can. You don't really have to do this. I don't know why they keep doing it, but they insist on it. And you should stop it. We insist on it.
Number 2.
We are once again at one of those hinge moments of history. Our old relationship with the United States, a relationship based on steadily increasing integration, is over. The system of open global trade, anchored by the United States, a system that Canada has relied on since the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped deliver prosperity for a country for decades, is over.
Well, he sounds really upbeat. Hey, that's the new leader, the new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, who was kind of sort of the old Prime Minister because he took over for Trudeau. You remember that guy.
LGBTQ2+.
Yeah, that guy. He sounds really upbeat about the United States. Yeah, our relationship is over. And oh, by the way, the trade deals, the ones that we've loved so much that have been one-sided for our side and not for the United States side, and then Trump came along and ruined a good thing. Yeah, that relationship's over. No. We're just going to fix it. We still have the relationship. It's really up to you what you want to do. But of course, the crazy leftists there in Canada, it's such a funny thing because, like I brought up earlier, so we have a new prime minister. He's with the Liberal Party, and everybody's like, if Trump wouldn't have talked about the 51st state, then maybe they would have voted for the Conservative. Okay, wait a second. Cost of living is horrible in Canada right now. There's crime going through the roof. They got woke ideology that nobody wants. It's an absolute disaster there. Okay, right. It's Trump calling him the 51st state because now you stuck it to him, right? You really stuck it to the United States. Look what we did. We voted for the Liberal because we hate Trump so much. Okay, great. How's the country going to be doing now in the future? Are you guys going to get any better, or did you think about that before you try to stick it to Trump?
Number 1.
Hi, everyone. Nikki Fried here,
hi.
Chair of the Florida Democratic Party.
Oh, hi.
Today marks Trump's first 100 days, and the damage is already done.
Oh, no.
In just over 3 months, we have seen sky-high tariffs that have tanked the economy.
No, it hasn't.
Hurt small business owners.
No.
And damaged our alliances around the world.
We're trying to fix it. It's
the worst measles outbreak in decades.
How did that happen?
Attacks on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security.
Nobody's attacking anybody.
And attacks on public servants, veterans, and educators.
Who's attacking who?
DOGE cuts that dismantle the federal workforce, VA, and Department of Education.
That's not true. What are you talking?
Republicans will have to defend this unpopular agenda, and it's up to us to seize the moment.
What?
Last year, we made history by fielding Democratic candidates in every single legislative and congressional race in Florida for the first time in decades.
That's your victory?
And while we didn't get the results we hoped for across the board, we increased Democratic turnout in Florida by 25%.
Yeah, clearly that wasn't enough. Wow. It goes on for another minute, and I would love to play it, but I don't have that much time. I need to go. That's, by the way, for those who don't know, that's the head of the Florida Democrat Party. That's Nikki Fried. You probably know her very well. You've probably heard
marijuana.
Yeah, she's big. Anyway, so there she is talking about how it's been horrible, awful, fascist, orange man, bad. Blah blah blah. You got that whole
Drew's top 5.
That's what they do. Nikki Fried and the lefties, and she said this is so funny. I have to. Oh man, how could I show this? All right, I'll have to describe it in just a second. All right, wait, am I, let me just double check here. Do we have Nick DeSiglia on with us? Senator DeSiglia joining us right now on Florida's Voice? Oh, he's there. Okay, great. I have to, well, hey, it's good to see you. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by this. I just have to say this, and then you don't have to react. I just have to repeat what I'm seeing here from the Florida Democrats web X account, right? And Nikki Fried, who's talking about all of these things, right? How bad Trump is, and everything's awful and bad and horrible. Just keep pushing the button. It's like it's the fascist, orange man bad, bad, horrible. Okay, but it says, now is the time to step up and run for office. Apply now. Like they're taking application. The Democrat Party in the state of Florida is literally, and I'm not kidding, I'm not using that word incorrectly, like literally asking for applications to run for office as a Democrat. Like they're taking up, I don't know what to, how's your day going?
Well, it's good. I'm glad that I'm on your show, and I feel like I'm in the twilight zone listening to, the Democratic Party chair and all of the great things she's celebrating. We have a supermajority in the legislature. Let me remind the viewers that election really went well for Democrats in 2024. Speaking of the twilight zone, I'm saying hello from the state legislature. Week 9, so it's been a little crazy around here.
Yeah, do we want to go into some of the crazy? Why don't we go into some of the good? Maybe let's hit us with some positives so we can finish on a good note and continue.
Yeah, look, I had Senate Bill 462 pass off the floor last week. Went over to the House. Pass out of the House today, so it is going to be on its way to the governor here shortly.
Nice.
A couple of things I do want to highlight, Drew, and I appreciate, as always, being on your show. You're doing a great job informing Floridians, the work we're doing here in the legislature. The easiest way for me to describe this, folks in Shore Acres, Northeast St. Petersburg, they have dealt with 3 major flood events in the last, within a 13-month time span. And unfortunately, their roads are susceptible to flood waters. And so we have, motorists who are driving through the neighborhood of Shore Acres and Venetian Isles and driving, 10, 15 miles an hour through a foot of water. That creates these huge wakes. And unfortunately, because they're not going over the speed limit, law enforcement cannot deal with that issue. And the problem is that the wakes are getting into the first level of people's homes. So, they spend days and days getting those floodwaters out of their lower level. Here comes, a vehicle creating this wake. This bill will allow law enforcement to enforce that really unfortunate situation when these individuals, quite frankly, just are not being considerate of folks in those neighborhoods. So this gives the tools to law enforcement to deal with that. And then another part of this bill deals with the school bus camera issue that unfortunately we have individuals who are getting tickets from these bus cameras in areas like Miami-Dade, areas like Hillsborough County, Tampa. They're getting tickets when they should not be getting tickets. They have video proof that they shouldn't be getting these tickets. And unfortunately, what's happening is that they have no way to appeal these tickets. There are potentially thousands of motorists in the Miami-Dade area alone that could be driving with suspended driver's license here pretty soon because there's no process in place. So working really closely with the Sheriff's Association, specifically Bob Gultieri, who's our sheriff in Pinellas County, amended Senate Bill 462 to create a process so that counties are going to be have the ability to process these, and more importantly, Floridians who get these violations can finally appeal it. I think there's going to be some work to do over the summer to really hone in on exactly some of the other issues that are around the school bus camera issue. But at the end of the day, Drew, it's good legislation. This is why we come up to Tallahassee to do what we do.
Right.
Whether it's in the Florida Senate or Florida House, we want to identify issues, identify problems, find ways to create some solutions for that. And Senate Bill 462 does exactly that.
Yeah, and listen, and I'll say this. One of the things I really appreciate about you is that this, for example, the wake issue was something that we talked about almost right after the storms. When you first came on and we first met and we were having this conversation and you knew and you recognized that issue. And people were talking to you about it. You personally recognize the issue. And that's good governance right there. You see the issue, you see it firsthand, talked about it a long time ago, recognized and said, boom, we got to get this done, make this happen. And that's really, what people quite honestly expect, and your constituents and others when they see things that are going wrong or they see things that we can do better, or whatever the case may be, you got to be on top of that. And so I appreciate that. I think that's one of the things we need to discuss more about. I know I don't have a ton of time where I could go in a lot about this legislative session. And unfortunately, as I've talked to others about, including Senate President, about why I thought this was going to be a glide path. We're going to be like landing the plane at the end of the week. And now, unfortunately, it looks like that's not going to be the case. Maybe in the next minute that we have, just kind of give us an overview of what you're feeling for the rest of the week.
Yeah, look, we got a lot of good policy out there that needs to come in for a landing. We're not going to finish the budget on time. That's okay. We have the month of May, month of June to accomplish that. I have full confidence in President Albritton, Speaker Perez. We're going to get together. We're going to have a very conservative, low tax budget that we're going to pass. Something that we're all going to be very, very proud of. We're going to be, again, leading the nation when it comes to, our tax environment in the state of Florida. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer to do extraordinary things. And again, we've got the right people at the table to accomplish that. And as they say, patience is a virtue. I certainly, support our presiding officers and we will eventually land the plane. And I think it's going to be something we're going to be all very proud of.
All right. Good stuff. All right, Senator. Great to see you. We'll speak soon.
You
Okay.
too.
All the best. God bless.
Yep, you
We'll
got
see you. That is State Senator Nick DeSegli joining us on Florida's Voice. Always appreciate a visit. All right. When we come back, we put a bow on the show. Next, it's Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I like a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council. Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, if you're looking to take advantage of today's pro-business environment and strengthen your financial future, certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and his team at Advantage Retirement Group have got you covered. They specialize in advanced tax strategies, risk management, and retirement planning, all aimed at helping high net worth investors like you thrive. Now, Alfie wants to share those insights with you with his book, Keeping You on the Retirement Fairway. It's packed with practical tips and forward-thinking strategies to help you make the most out of your hard-earned wealth. Ready to get your free copy? Text BOOK to 239-747-7470. That's 239-747-7470. Don't wait. Learn how to capitalize on that pro-business opportunities that are out there right now and secure the confident retirement you deserve. Once again, text BOOK to 239-747-7470 right now, and let Alfie Townsend and Advantage Retirement Group help guide you toward a stronger, more confident financial future.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today. We're with Liam after his 4th military move. When being new is starting to get old. We're with Tara during the holidays when she misses home the most. We're with all service members and their families who need connection, comfort, and a home away from home. Are you with them? Learn more at USO.org today.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Hey, let's end on this positive note, if you don't mind. This seems like a lot of fun. Now, I don't know if this is indicative of a move that's happening, but it is maybe just, for a lack of a better way of putting it, maybe a moment of clarity for the network. So CNN today has Representative Pramila Jayapal on, squad member, big lefty, right? And she's talking about Elon Musk and Trump and cutting Medicaid and Medicare and, dogs and cats getting along. It's going to be horrible. That kind of stuff. It's just really bad because she says so. So, and I want you to listen to it and check this video out. So, D, watch and listen to what she says about, first of all, they talk about this new CNN polls that says Americans are frustrated 100 days into Trump term. No, they're not. They're fine. They asked a lot of people in Michigan about that, and the Michiganders were like, no, everything's cool. We'll wait. We're good. And so listen to what she says here on CNN. Check this out.
Look, this is a bill that cuts
Talking about the big, beautiful bill, right?
Look, this is a bill that cuts a minimum of $880 billion from Medicaid, a program that serves 33 million kids across the country.
Now, you could see the host there, Boris Sanchez, I think is his name. He looks a little uncomfortable,
This is a bill that is going to allow the Trump administration to continue to destroy all of the federal agencies.
Okay, so destroy federal agencies, Medicaid, Medicare, we're going to be destroying a lot of stuff, right? So check the end part of this out as the host there on CNN is like, I'm not sure you're right about this.
Of getting giant tax breaks, then sure, we would be interested in talking about that. But that's not the bill we have before us, Boris. So I think you can expect a wholesale opposition to cutting Medicaid, Social Security, Medicare, the Department of Education, everything that they are doing.
Just to be precise, Congresswoman, I believe that in that soundbite, Elon Musk was talking about fraud in those entitlement programs being the big ones that they have to tackle.
No, that's not.
That's what he said in that soundbite. We can go back and find it, and we'll exchange emails, and you'll see that what he was talking about specifically in that soundbite that I believe you're referring to is fraud. And President Trump has said that he will not sign anything that cuts Medicaid, though it is true that the committee that oversees Medicaid has outlined $880 billion in cuts. How they make that math work is a question for Republicans.
Well, that's kind of sort of in a weird way hey now, that's not exactly what he said. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful about this. We got to be concise to be precise. He's talking about fraud. No, that's not what it is. No, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about fraud. Yeah, so I don't know if it's like they're turning the corner and they realize that nobody trusts them and nah, I'm not kidding. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, just a moment of clarity right there because people saw the soundbite and she literally right afterward lied about it. Can't do that. All right. Also, another thing you can't do is trust solar power. Sorry, if you're big into solar power. Red Electrica. Remember Spain had this big blackout? They're like, oh, I think, what happened was some anomalous atmospheric phenomenon or is a cyber attack. No. So Red Electrica, I guess the company that pretty much powers up or checks on the powering up of Spain said, yeah, you had too many a high penetration of renewables, solar, into the system. and it was unstable. And so basically the whole system collapsed because you started to incorporate more and more and more solar into the country's infrastructure when it comes to electric power, and you messed everything up. It can't handle it. That's why there was this major blackout. Whoa. All right, we gotta go. See you tomorrow.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
No way.
No way. No way. No way. My kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.